Hello my friends, welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to my Gig-Olos and Gig-Olettes. It's me, Gio. Y'all know who the fuck it is. Yes, that is Sweat. I already did my first task of the day. It was moving, pretty much throwing out garbage for someone with a leg injury. And now I had another moving gig set for noon today. The guy messaged me, he asked me if I could be there at 10:30. I said yes. So now I'm going to do that. And then I am done for the day. I know this is not the topic of the video, but I also feel the need to mention this. My original plan was to do Lyft from the time I finished this task until like 11:30 to give myself enough time to go to the second task. But there's another major protest scheduled in Chicago today. And the person I just did the task for is a Chicago paramedic or firefighter, one of those. I can't really tell the differences. And she said that the police blocked off a lot of the highway entrances anyway. So I'm like, yeah, probably dodged a bullet by not doing by not running Lyft today. So I'm going to go do this next moving gig, and then that's it. Yeah, that's all. That's all I'm gonna do today. Probably 4.5 hours of work. Who am I? What's going on here? But I also got plans tonight, so yeah. All right. So there's major talk right now. Only took me a minute and a half to get to the point. There's major talk right now. I mean, this is public information. Uber and Lyft are threatening to leave California if they are forced to classify their drivers as employees. And if that classification goes through, they're saying they're going to shut down operations for possibly 3 months. And I've seen one of my subscribers that he's a driver in California, my buddy Xander. He told me he sent me one of the emails saying, I mean, it essentially looked like a scare tactic, talking about how, you know, right now your account's secure, but we don't really know what's going to happen in a week and a half, and all this stuff. So, and like I said, this is entirely opinion. I'm not a California rideshare driver. I don't live in California. I've never even been to California. But we have to kind of like let's examine the maybes of every situation here, right? The only one I probably won't get into is the hybrid model that Dara K was talking about doing, where you won't entirely be an independent contractor, but you won't entirely be an employee. I don't even know what the hell that guy's talking about. You know, but like, there's so many different things I could talk about here that frustrate me about these apps. One is like, hey, here's the thing. Let me start on this. You know why California wants to classify drivers as employees and not independent contractors? You think it's because they care so much about the drivers? You think the 170,000 drivers in California are that much of a priority to the politicians and the lawmakers? No. What it is a little thing called tax money. Ooh, that's sweet government cheese. Yeah. You know, California will make up a massive you know, gap in their budget if whatever, let's just say 150,000 drivers in California, all of a sudden we're paying 25% in taxes on $1,000 a week in earnings. And like I said, I know that's a gross oversimplification. I'm well aware of that fact, and I'm sorry the air conditioner's blowing, but it's hot as fuck. I'm fat. I need air. So yeah, okay, let's just say even $750. What's 25% of that? 75, so 150 plus 38. Yeah, for every $750 a rideshare driver will make, they're going to be taxed 25%, right? That's money that the government of California and the federal government would like to get. Because you're not paying 20-25%, as an independent contractor. I mean, you are if you're using what's that shit called? Help me out here. What is that? What is that computer program you do? I don't even know. Guys, don't do your own taxes. Get an accountant. The main reason the state of California is in a mad rush to reclassify drivers is not to help drivers, it's to help themselves. It's to help their budget, right? So let's just get that out of the way. Let's get that reality addressed right away. Like here would be the obvious negatives. I mean, I don't even have to go into the negatives of how being an independent contractor is not beneficial for drivers. We're already seeing it. The rates are low. You have no arbitration. You have no like recourse if you get deactivated. They just shut you out. Like, yeah, so no benefits, decreasing pay around the board. And you're just like, you're an at-will employee, and if shit goes wrong, you just get cut. You have nothing to stand on. You're completely on your own out here. That's obviously, we already know that. That's a fact. So yeah, a lot of people will be like, yeah, independent contractor, it's just not worth it, right? The only way it would be worth it is if the apps themselves made changes that would benefit the drivers, which realistically is not going to happen because that cuts into the bottom line, right? They're looking to expand, giving drivers $2 a mile and $10 minimum fare fucks with their money too much. So that's obviously, but what would be, like, here are some potential benefits of maybe being an employee. And like I said, I haven't looked at what California's proposing. All I'm saying is, if you're an employee, this is what you might get to look forward to: a minimum pay. Maybe it could be 20, 21, 22, up to $25 an hour to be a driver, right? Maybe you will be receiving a minimum pay no matter what, right? And maybe even then, you might be receiving, since you're spending money for fuel as an employee of Uber or Lyft, you might be getting some kind of, allowance for fuel, your biggest expense, but you'd still have to cover your maintenance costs. And as an employee, but this comes with a caveat, you'd be entitled to benefits. You get to put money away for retirement. You get to put money away for, you get to put money into Social Security, stuff like that. Things that are, traditional employees at a job get. Those are the obvious ones. And like I said, that's I'm completely spitballing because I know in New York, supposedly, I don't really hear much about it anymore, but you're entitled to $27 an hour, I believe. But also, look at the cost of living in New York City. It's outrageous. Like, what is $27 an hour in New York? Is that like $14 an hour in Illinois? It's, yeah. Okay. Now, those are the obvious benefits. But what is the you can't get something for nothing. There's going to be a balance, right? You can't just push something and not have it pull back. So if drivers are classified as employees, here might be some real drawbacks. One, if you're an employee, right, you have to do everything Uber's way. You have to stick to a schedule. They're probably going to give you, they're going to say you have to be online from 5 a.m. to 11 a.m. You have to be online during that time. If not, you're going to be late for your shift. If you show up late to work too many times, you get fired, right? They might have designated zones you have to show up in. Keyword might. I don't want you guys to be like, yeah, you don't know shit, Gio. I'm saying maybe to all these things. Right? These are things that I've covered before. These are entirely real possibilities of what can happen if California drivers switch to employee model, right? So you'd have to set schedules. No more like, oh, I'll just go online whenever I want. No, you would probably have set schedules. That one is most likely guaranteed if you guys are employees. You might have designated zones. I'm not. That may not entirely be real. It could be. But the one thing I can guarantee you, if you are an employee, you're gonna have to drive Uber's way, right? They're gonna take your filters away, and you will have to pretty much, you know how like there's no acceptance rate and cancellation rate, like it's really kind of not really that big of a deal in California. Your acceptance rate would probably have to be like 95%, and your cancellation rate would have to be super fucking low, like 3 or 4%. And if you don't meet those metrics, if your acceptance rate isn't that high and your cancellation rate is not that low, guess what? As an employee of Uber and Lyft, you will get fired. Okay? What's another drawback? This is one that I don't think anyone else has talked about. If you guys are employees, you're gonna say goodbye to, like, you're still gonna get tips probably. There's still gonna be tipping in the app, on top of your minimum wage, or I'm not saying minimum wage, but your hourly rate. But say goodbye to surge pricing. Uber and Lyft will still charge in demand or surge pricing to their customers, right? But let's say, pre-COVID, there was a huge event at the Staples Center. You're seeing, you guys have the multiplier again. Let's say you guys are seeing a 5x, 6x surge or something like that. And, you stood to make $30 for going up the street, for going a couple blocks. Guess what? Now, if you guys are employees, you are only entitled to your hourly rate and the tip. So California essentially is giving Uber and Lyft a free pass to charge customers whatever they want, and you guys are stuck with your rates. Now, if you are not that good of a, if you're just a driver that just turns on the app and just drives and doesn't really strategize, then that works for you because you probably weren't making that much in the first place. You might actually see an increase in pay. If you're a hustler, if you know your market, you're going to be like, well, this fucks with my strategy. There's no strategy anymore. You're doing it entirely Uber and Lyft's way, in my opinion. And back to the benefits, here's the drawback. If you're an employee, they're probably not going to give you benefits because, a lot of companies, they will only allow their workers to work a certain amount of hours because this was something because of Obamacare, right? I could be wrong on this one. They're only federally supposed to give you benefits if you work over 30 hours, I think. So many of you will be stuck with only a 30-hour window to make money. And for many of you, like I said, that's beneficial. Let's say you're making $25 an hour for 30 hours, $750 before taxes, and maybe a fuel, like a fuel allowance or something. I don't know. How would that work if you're an employee? How would the fuel and maintenance cost be covered? Because that's so weird. The fact that you're driving your own car to do contracted work, I don't understand. But many of you, like a lot of the full-time drivers as employees, probably would not be full-time drivers. They just wouldn't allow it. You'd be allowed a certain number of shifts per week, and the shift would automatically end at 30 hours. You really think Uber and Lyft, with the fact that they're not even profitable, are going to be giving out overtime to drivers who are out there 60, 70 hours a week? That'd be awesome for you guys. Those of you who like working out there, those of you who hustle, the Jay Craters of the world that worked 60 hours a week back when they drove. $25 an hour, a time and a half. That's $37 an hour for the last 20 hours of your week. That's good fucking money. That's $2K a week, pretty much guaranteed, if you put in the hours. But I sincerely doubt they're going to even allow you guys to get anywhere near that overtime hours. And I sincerely doubt, in my opinion, as drivers, as employees, I sincerely doubt they'll even let you guys go over 30 because they don't want to be paying for your benefits, right? So that's just a couple things. Some of the potential positives and some of the potential negatives. I can't say. It very much looks like they're going to be shutting down operations in California because of this, and I saw the email on Proposition 22. It essentially looked like they're going to make all these promises to drivers that, oh yeah, we'll change for the better, but you got to vote on our behalf to let you stay independent contractors. Which, guys, we all know that's a bunch of crap. We all know that's a bunch of bullshit. Uber and Lyft drivers are the most essential part of their business and the most poorly treated contract employees, whatever you want to call it. They are literally like swept under the rug for everything. So don't believe a goddamn word these apps tell you. If they're telling you we're going to improve, these are the changes we're going to make. If you guys get to keep independent contractor status, don't believe it, right? They had their fun, but it's really up to the drivers in California, the people voting on it, if you're in favor of doing things your way or doing things your way. At the end of the day, that's the simplest way to explain it. You're either doing it the way they want you to do it, or you're doing it your own way. Both have their benefits and both have their drawbacks, right? The choice is yours. So that's all I got for this one. I want to thank y'all for watching. Everyone, please stay safe, stay driven, stay healthy, stay classy, and I'll talk to you guys next time.